Hello and welcome to another Zack Carnage video, and this time we're going to be talking about how to build your Necron army. Now this is mainly about your playstyle, and it's really about what you want to do with your army, how you want it to play, and really how you plan on beating your opponent. So I've split this into three main playstyles. There's aggressive play, where you're constantly pushing your opponent back, control play, where you sort of sit there and you let your opponent do stuff and you manipulate them so that they won't ever actually get past you. And then there's versatile play, which is what I guess you could say general play is, where your army is pretty much is built to try and deal with any situation. You're not pushing for any particular playstyle, and you just sort of play the game. So the aggressive builds are split into slaughter and speed. Now, slaughter is really about killing your opponent, and I've got a lovely magical word which should pop up on screen any moment. And really, the point in a slaughter build is that you want to kill all of your opponent's army, or as much of it as possible, so that they can't actually do any damage back. This does very well against versatile plays, because basically your opponent's generally expecting you to go for the objectives, so you'll just go for the objectives. But if you're playing slaughter, you want to kill all of their units which will take objectives. You don't actually care about getting them yourself. You just say, okay, I've got these big shooter units, they're going to go and kill all of your stuff. So for a Necron army, the sorts of units that are really good for slaughter builds are things like the Doom Scythe, Wraiths, and the Annihilation Barge. These are all really good offensive units, because the Doom Scythe kills everything, and it's very hard to take out. Well, it's getting easier, obviously, as codices proceed, and people are getting more options with Skyfire and things. But having that Strength 10, the insta-kill, is a really nice weapon to have, and the way that it works is really good as well. The Doom Scythe can just kill so many things with a death ray. And Wraiths as well. I've tried and tested Wraiths, and they are one of my favourite units, absolute favourite for the Necrons. They do really well against everything because of their claws having rending and stuff. And the whip coils, putting your opponent down to initiative 1, is insanely good. The Annihilation Barge, I know a lot of people have a lot of success with. I myself have not actually had as much success with it, but this is going in as well to the slaughter because it potentially can kill so many things in one go. So that's some ideas for the slaughter build. Then we have the speed build. So the point of a speed Necron army is basically you have loads of very fast moving units, and what you're doing is you're going to make your opponent think that you go for one objective and then actually you go for something else entirely. So this could be, this is for the sorts of people who like to, in their final turn, contest an objective using, say, your one remaining Tomb Blade, and and that means that, hey, it turns out you win the game because that one Tomb Blade just saved you. So it's a bit of a risky playstyle, but it does mean you have a lot of very fast-moving units, which is always just an awesome idea. It works really well with the Necron Codex, and it gives you quite a few options, actually. So the sorts of units you might like to take for this are obviously the Tomb Blades, because they're very fast, they can get around the board very quickly. The only problem with them is they die very quickly, so you've got to keep them safe by moving around a lot. Wraiths, again, are pretty much a must for almost any Necron army build. Speed build as well, because this is an aggressive playstyle where you're pushing for the objectives. So Wraiths really help quite a lot with that, and they move very quickly across the board as well. Destroyers come in here, mainly because they can move, not so much for anything else. I see Destroyers as less of an offensive unit and more of a supportive unit, because you don't really get enough shots for the points, I think, for them to be an aggressive unit. So they can't do as much damage as you'd like for aggressive units, but they are very quick and they do quite a lot of damage when they need to. The Night Scythe is brilliant for deploying your troops where you need them, so you can always have them in reserve, bring them on and drop off your troops, and the Night Scythe just works really nicely. And the Ghost Arc carrying warriors works very well in the speed build as well. I suggest running 2 individual Ghost Arcs with 10 warriors in each one, or if you don't have enough points, drop it down to the minimum number, the minimum warrior count. And the point of these is you can hang back for a few turns, then when it gets to like turn 4, turn 5, you start moving them out, and you drop your guys right on the objective. And your opponent's like, oh, I've just lost that objective because my opponent's dropped a load of people on it. Scarabs also I'd suggest for speed build just purely because they move very quickly. And now, using my wonderful supercomputer technology words, whew, Control doesn't like me. Control! So, what do you want from a control build? Well, the point of this build... Can I get that? There we go. The point of a control build, as I said, was to make your opponent think twice about every single thing they do. So, what do you want from a control build? Well, the point of this build... Can I get that? There we go. The point of a control build, as I said, was to make your opponent think twice about every single thing they do. You're going to be sitting at the back or on the objective pretty much from the start of the game, and you're holding your position for the entire game. So the sorts of things that are interesting to do with this with our Orokin, and the Catan Shards with Writhing Worldscape. That's a brilliant first turn play because your opponent instantly, oh no, everything is dangerous, what am I going to do? And it makes it very difficult for them to actually make an aggressive play. So control armies are really there to shut down your opponent and stop them from being able to do things. And the Writhing Worldscape combo is just insanely good against some people. Heavy Destroyers I would also suggest for this build, purely because of the range of their weapons. I know it's not as good as some things, you're going to get shot at by Tau quite a bit still, but Heavy Destroyers having that extra range is a really nice option. The Monolith as well for control, just because it's so hard for your opponent to get over. They're going to use all of their resources trying to get rid of your Monolith, which means that your other stuff can do pretty much whatever it wants, and that means you're more likely to survive wherever you are. The Ghost Arc with Warriors, again, just keeping them alive, but you'd have the Warriors out of the Ghost Arc in this case. And if you want to go for it, the Doomsday Arc is good. Just put it at the back and fire off shots. And if you're running a Scarab build, then you can always go for your Tomb Spiders, Panoptic Spiders. So that's the idea of the control build, that you sort of, you hang back and you're manipulating your opponent. You can, if you want to, put in some faster units in this, like the Tomb Blades, just to bait out your opponent and bring them to wherever on the board you need them to be, because control is all about I'm going to sit here and I'm going to manipulate you into doing this and this, which means that in 2 turns I'll have wiped off half your army or something like that. And it's quite a lot of fun to play a build like that. And finally, there's Versatile. Now, a versatile build is really up to you. I mean, it depends how you want to build it. You may have heard of the attack, support, defend style of army build. This is kind of the sort of thing it's about. So you pick your attacking units, pick your defending units, pick your supporting units, and you play them all together and you test them and you see if they work well for you. This doesn't have any particular play style. It can if you tailor it by, say, upping the attack, but then it heads towards the previously mentioned aggressive or control, depending on how you choose to run it. But just a quick run over of the attack, support and defend. For attack units, I would go Doom Scythe, Wraiths, or the Night Scythe, depending on your playstyle. It depends whether you want to kill loads of stuff or you want to get in position. Doom Scythe is killing stuff, Night Scythe is getting into position. Supporting, things like the Annihilation Barge, the Monolith, the spiders and the tomb blades and destroyers, they're all very good supporting units because they can move into position where you need them to be most of the time, obviously apart from the monolith. Monolith's just sort of a wall. But the other guys can move into position, they can pick off units that are in the way, and they're great for cleaning up. And the defend units, obviously it's your choice between warriors and immortals. I've been swinging back and forth. When this codex came out, I was thinking immortals, then warriors for a while. At the moment, it depends on my mood and whether I'm running ghost arcs or not. Because if you're playing warriors, you might as well put a ghost arc in because it does make you a lot more survivable. But then if you're not running a ghost arc, you could always up your warrior count to a larger unit. So, hopefully this video has given you some insight, and hopefully my paper wasn't too off-putting. As always, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget you can like, leave a comment or suggestion